Hey, Sherree, thanks for joining me here in the San Francisco Bay Area. We have some concerns about the 49ers sitting at 4-4. Obviously, last year the team went to the Super Bowl, but now the team does have some red zone issues, Sherree, and Christian McCaffrey, I believe, was the reason why the red zone for the 49ers with him works so much. Without him, the other teams can just play man, and they can just basically lock it down. They don't have that explosive running back in the middle. Assuming that he comes back and is the same player, will that help the 49ers in the red zone?
Absolutely. And, you know, it's been so unfortunate to see the list of injuries, particularly the players on that list of injuries for San Francisco this season. The game is better when we have all those guys like Debo, Kittle, Christian McCaffrey in particular. But as you mentioned it, there's going to be so many more options when Christian McCaffrey comes back. Granted, that has to be the Christian McCaffrey we've seen before. I don't know exactly where he is with this health of his legs. This bye week could not have come at a better time for him to get that extra week to really test out the leg, go to practice. So if he is back and it's the Christian McCaffrey that we have known to love and enjoy, he will be a difference maker in the red zone because, as you mentioned it, Sal, if you know you have to cover Christian McCaffrey coming out of the backfield, who, by the way, can also catch, then that totally opens up some of the other players for Brock Purdy to be able to hit and find the end zone.
All right, you know, you're absolutely right. Let's hope he comes back and is the same player. I want to talk about the defense, Sherree, because the defense has taken a step back from the last year's Super Bowl team. It doesn't seem to have the same stopping power. Some games have been lost because they can't get that crucial stop. So what do you think they're going to do at the trade deadline, just because it's coming up? Will they pick up another defensive player, do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question in the fact of what exactly is the 49ers' options on the table. I think they really need to take this bye week and kind of survey the landscape. The real challenge, I think, for the San Francisco 49ers will be, can they win their division, right? If you can at least get that spot, then that opens a few more doors for you than saying having to be a wild card team. They definitely could use some support on defense. There's a lot of weight on Nick Bosa's shoulders. But I'm thinking that there's not really a lot of times that we've seen the San Francisco 49ers make that really big, splashy addition at the trade deadline more times than not. There's a lot of in-house success, and granted, every season is different, so to expect the fact that that was a Super Bowl caliber defense last year, I wouldn't expect the same thing this year. So there needs to be sort of that adjustment period. But I think I can see the 49ers kind of more staying with their core and trying to mold that and move forward.
You said that the NFC West is kind of up for grabs. You know, a lot of these teams have had disappointing seasons. They would say that anyway. I mean, 4-4 isn't exactly burning the house down, Sherree, for the 49ers. But some of these other teams, you know, they're not doing well either.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at it, it's what, 4-4, 4-4, 4-4, 3-4. It's anyone's game, and the Rams playing the Seahawks it is this weekend, that those two will beat up on each other. It's really anyone's game in the NFC, which makes it so much fun. But again, I know the fans there in the Bay Area would much prefer to see that lead in the division that we're so used to seeing San Francisco have. But that's also kind of what makes this fun. And sure, 4 losses, it's tough, but that makes those 4 wins that much sweeter. And they totally have a chance to be able to get back, as we said, Christian McCaffrey. The question is, which Christian McCaffrey will they be getting back and be able to pick things up? And those injuries, I mean, it really matters what you do at the end of the season, right? You can't win the Super Bowl in September. It's November, December, and as we trickle into January when these games really matter and you have to keep your foot on the pedal.
Yeah, Sherree, the 49ers were not trying to peak too early. That's my excuse, and I'm going with it, right? But, okay, I have one more.
It works, it makes sense.
Right. I have one more question. Which are the NFC teams to watch? We have a big game coming up this weekend between the Lions and the Packers. Those two teams are doing very well, and those games are going to be on Fox. So we're going to be watching them, obviously. What do you think about the rest of the NFC as a whole?
Yeah, again, I was sort of surprised that I guess my expectations were probably the same as all of the fans watching here, Sal, that the 49ers would be at the top of the NFC. So I was a little surprised by this start, but the way the NFC North has really shaken out has been very surprising, has been excellent football to watch. So definitely going to be glued into that Lions-Packers game. Also, looking at the Washington Commanders, what they've been able to do has just been night and day. It's one of those favorite storylines that we love as football fans, right? The worst to first kind of mentality. And what Jaden Daniels has been able to do in the NFC East, but let alone just as a whole, he is just so cerebral, so much fun to watch, and he's only a rookie. So how lucky are we that we get to watch his whole career? But it's definitely getting packed at the top. So it's really going to be interesting to shake out and see which teams really rise to the top as we get to the middle part of January.
Sherree Burris, it's fun to talk football with you. You're from Good Morning Football. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a good football watching weekend.
Thank you, Sal. I appreciate it.